Good morning, everybody. What's going on here? Get this over here. You're supposed to be over here. How dare you? And my hair, what is this? Big wispy piece of hair. Oh. What's going on, everyone? Good morning and welcome to the PreStream podcast. How are you today? I hope everyone is having a good weekend so far. Excuse me. For today is Saturday, May 7th, 2022. And of course, I'm Darkside Phil, and I welcome you here to another full and fun day of streaming. This is quite the interesting weekend, to say the least, because every single day, starting today, I'm beating a game. Every single day we are wrapping up a new game, okay? And I'm excited for that, for sure. You know, some of these have been very long-standing, ongoing playthroughs. At the very same time, some of them have not been so much. It's a game that I've only played once, and I'm beating it again tomorrow, like only the second time I'm playing it. But, as they say, out with the old, in with the new. And what that means is that as I beat these games over the course of the weekend, we need to talk about what you guys want to see as my next slew of playthroughs, okay? Because we know that WWE 2K22 is finally coming. All right, it's been 2 months in the making. You guys have kept saying that this is what you want next. Once I wrap up all these ongoing lengthy playthroughs, which I totally am down for. But at the very same time, we have another big open playthrough spot on the main streams. And what we need to do over the next few days is we need to talk about this. And already I can tell you we're going to go over some feedback that I got overnight. People who watch both the PreStream podcast from yesterday as well as the daily wrap from yesterday, and who have weighed in on what they think would be good, at least, you know, for the next week or two, as playthroughs for the daytime streams. Because here's the thing. Here's the difference between the daytime streams and the night streams, all right? The daytime streams are usually reserved for games that are more current games, ongoing playthroughs that are going to be pretty lengthy, but also are going to get more interest. The games that people want to see right away and more of, right? Can you imagine if I had played Elden Ring as a late night stream in 2-hour segments? I probably wouldn't beat it until Christmas. The game is so damn lengthy, right? I mean, we just hit the 120-hour mark. I'm not kidding. We hit the 120-hour mark in Elden Ring, and now we're about to beat it, finally. So there you go. You know, it's hard because there's a lot of things I would like to do right now. No exaggeration. I would want to play a bunch of old games, right? Like I told you, games from my youth, like The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, or Earthbound, or Chrono Trigger. But are those playthroughs that are actually going to get kind of daytime attention? Are people going to come to the streams during the day and say, hey, I want to be here for a 3+ hour chunk of gameplay of that game? And, you know, I don't know. I think that those playthroughs, honestly, are more kind of night streams, kind of chill playthrough fare, where those who really like me and my content or like retro games are going to show up, but that's not going to attract the mainstream audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to do it right now. I'd drop everything and say, let's just start playing them, because I love those games so much. Those are games that I've gone back to over and over the years to replay because I love them so much. But as much as this content creation deal is my job, or is my hobby, it's also my job. It's my hobby, and I love to do it for, you know, for fun, but I also got to make a living doing it. And it's like, damn, so I really have to be more calculated and more open-minded when it comes to what I'm going to be doing on the daytime streams. And a lot of the times that means taking your suggestions and understanding that you guys might want to see something that I don't necessarily feel like I want to play immediately, but if I play it, maybe I'll like it, right? That happens a lot, where you guys suggest things, I'm like, nah, I don't know. Then I play and like, oh, it's actually pretty good. I'm glad that we started this. Thanks for the suggestion. This happens quite often. So, that being said, I've listened to your feedback, and we're going to talk about that. That's going to be a big segment of this PreStream podcast, is listening to what people have suggested in 24 hours. But I need more. I definitely need more suggestions, need more feedback. So by all means, please share with me what you would like to see balanced with WWE 2K22 over the next few weeks, because it's going to probably be 2 to 3 weeks until new releases hit around the end of May, and then we'll have more to do. Okay. So, let us talk about the schedule this weekend. Let's actually go through it so you guys know what to expect, because there's 3 different games finishing up over the weekend, okay? Okay, first off, today, we are finishing LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, a game that actually got way more traction or not really traction, what's the word I'm looking for? Way more, I guess, content. It was a very lengthy playthrough. In regards to a game like this, if you guys aren't aware, this game, all right, is at part 29 and continuing. We got 30 freaking hours of gameplay out of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, okay? And that's pretty good. When you think about a LEGO game, you're getting 30 plus hours. And by the way, I didn't do everything. I did do some optional content. We did go out of our way to try to collect hidden items and solve puzzles. And it's definitely been a good ride, okay? But that being said, definitely it's for a certain audience. And what I mean by that is those who really like Star Wars or those who really like chill LEGO games. It didn't catch on with my mainstream viewing audience. As I've played LEGO, what I've definitely noticed is that we have way less viewers on the stream than usual. All right, we'll usually get way more viewers for almost any other game, okay? And, yeah, I hate to admit it, but unless we get a day when someone is, oops. A day when someone is, I can't speak because I'm distracted with some asshole in the chat. Let's try this again. Unless we get a day when someone is a huge fan of LEGO or just wants to come and support my streams, even the support for the game has been very slow. On a typical day when I'm playing LEGO Star Wars, there's just not a lot of support coming in on the streams. Just being honest, okay? There have been a few exceptions, but in general, it's been one of those playthroughs. Low attendance, low support, okay? The thing is, I've really enjoyed it. I've actually really enjoyed playing the game because I have not had many Star Wars experiences on my streams. In the last few years, what did we have? 2 years ago, we played Knights of the Old Republic. And I think it was right before that was Jedi Fallen Order. Before then, it was the Battlefront games, which weren't very good. You know, Star Wars content is definitely lacking in the video game department in the last decade, honestly. You know, it hasn't been very good stuff, except for a few exceptions here or there. So, to actually play a LEGO game that went through the history of the Star Wars movies, and for me to re-experience all those movies, which I haven't actually watched or even talked about in a very long time, has been very fun. And right now, today, we're going to finish up the final movie, which is The Rise of Skywalker, which I never saw. So I actually have no clue what to expect in the plot today, because I didn't even see this movie. I think that's going to be cool to experience that with all of you today for the first time and see how the trilogy ended and see why so many people were upset, because a lot of people were like, damn, that trilogy really stunk. What I find hilarious is people hated the modern Star Wars movies so much, they argue that they're not canon. Oh, those aren't canon. That's not canon plot. What are you talking about? They're mainstream movies. They're called Episode 7, 8, and 9. They are chronological in the numbered movies. How can you argue that they're not canon? Oh, they're not canon. Okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say, just because you didn't like it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Listen, I did not like The Phantom Menace. Outside of the fight scenes, I thought the movie was terrible. That doesn't mean that it's not canon. All right? It's canon. If you haven't noticed, it's part of the plot of Star Wars. They didn't retcon it. Okay? Anyway. That being said, I'm excited today to see how it ends, all right, on today's stream. And for those of you who've enjoyed the ride, thank you for chilling with me while I played LEGO Star Wars. One of the most fun things that we've done and had a good time with was talking about Star Wars and the lore of Star Wars during this playthrough. I very much enjoyed discussing Star Wars with all of you because I don't really get a chance to do that, right? Well, again, with so few games, how often do you get to talk about Star Wars? And so it was cool talking about the lore, and you guys were telling me all this information about supplementary stuff and stuff that I never even knew about, okay? So, good stuff. I'm looking forward to the end. You would think that we're beating it today because we're in the final game, or the final movie, and we've already done the whole first story segment. So with only 4 story segments left, it's pretty assured I think we're beating it today. There's really no reason to go crazy with the collectathon methodology today. Why would I? We're at the end of the game. It's not going to pan out into anything else. The thing is, with a game like this, I could probably make it, no exaggeration, like an 80-hour playthrough. Going back and doing every collectible, every side mission, unlocking every character, getting every single thing. But there's really no reason to do that unless you're looking to kill time. I'm not. I'm looking to put meaningful content out on my stream, so we're not going to be doing that stuff, okay? So, I am excited for today. What's funny is we got people in the stream chat right now saying, oh, well, George Lucas doesn't approve of any of the Disney Star Wars content, so it's not canon. And like, wrong. Disney owns it. Disney literally owns Star Wars. Lucas sold it. Deal with it. He sold it. This is like saying, oh, well, the original makers of YouTube don't agree with anything that Google has done with YouTube in the last 15 years. And Google owns YouTube. They do. What are you talking about? Pretty silly. Anyway, so I'm excited to see how it ends today. Please, if you are here, let's enjoy the ride together. Let's make it just as fun as it's been all along. Let's talk, let's chill, and let's see how the plot ends. Alrighty then. Now later tonight, this is going to be interesting. I am playing Halo Infinite again for the first time in months. Halo Infinite was incredibly popular back in the fall/winter. It was the top first-person shooter multiplayer game on console and on PC for a while. And then what happened was they didn't update it. And 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 he got so bored because it's just the same shit. It's the same maps, the same gameplay. They weren't even like tweaking much. Every once in a while they would do a little tweak here or there to fix something, but it was like, you gotta keep your stuff updated. You gotta have fresh content in there. Every other multiplayer game has been putting out seasonal content. First 3 months is the launch content. Then another 3 months, there's a season 2. Then another 3 months is time for another season. And it keeps it fresh, and it keeps it interesting, and it keeps people hooked. It's almost like when they were developing Halo Infinite, they didn't look at any of their competition at all. They didn't see what else was out there to see how others are doing it. They just said, we're just going to do whatever we want, and you're going to like it, or else don't play. Which is exactly what happened. I hate to say, but people played it for 3-4 months and said, why are we still playing this? It's the same shit. And they stopped playing. And the numbers went from way up here to boo into the toilet. At one point, Halo Master Chief Collection had more online concurrent players than Halo Infinite. All right? And it's funny because I do, to some extent, follow the Halo Infinite community on Twitter to see what they say about the game. And they're like, wow. Take a look at any other community. Take a look at Call of Duty, Minecraft, Apex Legends, of course, Fortnite. Just some examples. But take a look at any other gaming community. If you search on YouTube for content creators in those communities, you will find numerous amounts of people with subscribers in the millions who can make a living making content based off of those gaming communities, right? And then look at Halo Infinite. Said people have tried and just fail. They can't continuously make content because there's nothing to make content on. The game never updates, and because of that, it's like, okay, here's a new release, talk about it for a week or two, new map or a new strategy, and now you have nothing to do. You're just bored. Again, they didn't even release Forge mode, which is the mode where you can kind of make your own maps and stuff, so they can't even do things. Like, remember back in the day, they had Red versus Blue and shit like that? They can't even do content like that. They can't make any content on the game because fucking 343 Industries doesn't update the game. It's like 343 doesn't want to be successful. And what they've said is stuff like, oh, well, our problem is limitations of our studio, the amount of people we have, work-life balance, the war in Ukraine. I'm not kidding. They actually said that. And it's like, what it sounds like to me is, all right, Halo was planned to be the big, giant comeback game for Xbox. When Xbox Series S and X launched a year and a half ago, okay? At this point, almost 2 years ago, now that I'm thinking about it. Microsoft wanted Halo Infinite to be the launch title. And they kept bugging 343 Industries about it, to which they kind of were like, well, we're going to do our best, but we can't promise anything. And then when it came time for the launch of Xbox, remember, they weren't ready. So they delayed the game an entire year. This gave 343 a chance to at least make a playable, fun game. But if anything, what this is proving is, I hate to say it, 343 Industries is not a AAA studio. I'm just going to say it, all right? I know a lot of people are going to be upset about this. 343 Industries is not a AAA studio. If they were, they'd be able to handle a AAA game. They can't, all right? They botched Halo 4. They botched Halo 5. Halo 6 was good, and then they botched it after it being good. They can't do it. They need better leadership, more employees, and a new direction. You can't have a company have the flagship series for your console and be incompetent. And they are. I don't know what else to say. I'm not trying to insult the game devs. I'm saying that company does not have the creative direction nor the management to handle a AAA game. It's obvious at this point. All right? It's been a long time they've been handling Halo, and they still can't do it right. Even when they have a hit on their hands, they can't do it right. So if I were Microsoft, and this is just me, I'd be going in there and saying, all right, enough is enough. All the upper management's gone. Bye-bye. We're going to replace people there who've handled AAA game development before. We're going to have them rewrite the ship in the correct direction. We're going to hire tons of new game developers to come in here and help with the development of Halo Infinite moving forward, because you've botched the game. I wouldn't just sit there with this hands-off attitude, which is what it seems like Microsoft is doing, saying, oh, well, there's the ship, it's sinking. Oh, well, if they plug the holes, I guess that's fine. If not, well, we'll just move on. We'll talk about something else. That's fucked up. It really is. It's fucked up. Halo Infinite deserves to succeed. It's a great game. There's an entire community of people who love Halo, who were so happy when Halo Infinite was successful. And now with the new Halo TV series coming out, Halo is more prominent than ever. But the game is flopping. If you didn't hear, all right, this week was the launch of Halo Season 2, okay? It's had nothing but problems. The whole new things they set up don't even work. They have these new tiered reward system. It's not working. People are complaining in droves. What the hell? We waited all this time, 6 months, for you to put out a Season 2, and the Season 2 content doesn't work. Like, are you inept? The answer is yes, they are inept. There's no other answer to this question. There needs to be someone else in charge, because the people who are in charge at 343 are not good at what they're doing. It's 3 fucking games now they've screwed up, okay? So, tonight we're trying Halo Infinite, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. No, I'm not confident that it's going to be good. I hope it is. I hope we play it and we have fun. There's supposed to be 2 new maps, new game modes, new unlockable rewards and stuff. Great. I'm excited to have fun with this game again and jump into it. We haven't done any competitive first-person shooter stuff since I stopped playing this, what was it, 3 months ago? But I'm not confident. I'm just not confident that the game's going to be good and it's going to hold any interest, which is why I keep telling you guys, Monday night is open. It could be more Halo Infinite if we have fun tonight, but if not, we'll just do something off Game Pass. I don't even want to commit to playing 2 sessions of Halo. That's how little confidence I have in the game at this point, which sucks because I thought it was great for the couple of months there that I played when it came out. But my God, I don't know how badly they can flub this. That's pretty bad that you have a whole Halo community of people who want to play and make content, and they say, we can't even do it. We can't even become popular and remain prominent because there's nothing to talk about or do with your game. We can't be Halo content creators because there's no Halo content to make. Damn, that's a telling story, don't you think? In the era of social media and YouTube and streaming, people can't make Halo content because there's no content to make because the game is so stale. Ouch. Anyway, we're going to try Halo Infinite tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. I hope it's good. No, really, I want it to be good. I want to have fun tonight with Halo, so it'll be an interesting experiment to say the least, okay? All right. So that's today. Tomorrow, we're finishing another game. It's called To Yomi. It's a little indie game that I played a couple days ago. It is a homage to the classic Kurosawa samurai films of yesteryear. And it definitely is artistically great. And the plot is actually getting very interesting. But the gameplay isn't very good. And that's kind of the issue, is if most of the game is just this gameplay element of combat, and the combat ain't great, obviously you have a major shortcoming in your game. So we're going to finish it up tomorrow. We finished 4 out of the 7 chapters in the first session. We're going to try to wrap it up tomorrow and see how it all ends, and then I'll give you my full thoughts. Okay? Tomorrow night will be the continuation of Skyrim After Hours. It's when we play Skyrim Anniversary Edition in a chill format of a couple hours at a time, and it's very interactive and fun. We're currently doing the Dragonborn DLC, which has been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to do 2 more hours of it with you all tomorrow night. Okay? Then on Monday, this is the big one. Ladies and gentlemen, on Monday, Elden Ring concludes. It didn't seem like it was ever going to conclude, did it? It didn't seem like it was ever going to conclude at all. I've been playing this game since late February. It is now entering the 2nd week of May. 120 hours of gameplay. And we're finally finishing Elden Ring. We're definitely in the home stretch. And it's going to be the finale, finally. If I beat it within 1 to 2 hours, then we're going to review it. I'm going to do my actual full review of the game live on stream. And then it's going to be an on-demand video on YouTube for people to watch after the fact. Now, I used to review games all the time. When I became a full-time streamer, that all went away. And I will do full reviews only for big exceptions. The last time I did a full review of a video game was The Last of Us 2. Okay? I feel Elden Ring is absolutely one of these times when I need to review a game, because I want to give you the most honest take that I can give you, having played the entirety of the game. I didn't just rush through it like a lot of content creators did. I didn't do certain build. I basically tried to do variety. I tried to see everything that was meaningful in the game, all the NPC quests, all the optional side content. I tried multiple builds and things in my run, okay? So, it'll definitely be interesting to see how it goes on Monday and then to review the game, all right? I feel my review will likely be a lot different than a lot of other people's, because I'm going to be brutally honest about the game, both with the things that I absolutely love about it and the things that I hate about it, and the things that are kind of in the middle. Because there's a lot of that, honestly. I think there's a lot of stuff that's kind of in the middle about this game. While everyone's out there beaming about the game and kissing its ass, there's a lot of stuff that I think people have definitely over-exaggerated, okay? So we shall see, right, on Monday. I know people have been waiting for this for a while. You're finally going to get my honest take on Monday. And then Monday night, as I've already stated, it's up in the air. It could be more Halo Infinite. If we really had a good time tonight, we'll do more. It could be something completely different. It could be a new Game Pass game that I add to the rotation. It could be Mirror's Edge. It could be a Game Pass game I've already played and I want to continue. I'm not sure yet. Okay? So, that's the streaming week. I'm off on Tuesday. And then when I return on Wednesday, all right, the first major stream of the week is going to be WWE 2K22. We're going to give it a shot, okay? We're going to play it. We're going to go through, I believe it's showcase mode is the story mode, and we're going to do that and go from there. That's going to be the next major game that I'm going to play is WWE 2K22, okay? Now, a couple other odds and ends to mention before we get to the next segment. Sorry, my allergies are killing me again today. So, in regards to upcoming playthroughs and upcoming schedule, the big event that's happening is in 1 week from today. 1 week from today, which will be the next Saturday, the 14th, is the 1-year Return to YouTube Anniversary Special. It's a marathon event happening right here on DSPGaming. It's going to have a lot of fun. First of all, over the course of this coming week, you guys are going to be voting on the cuisine that I'm going to be trying for an episode of Feasting with the King live during that event. We haven't set it up yet because I need your feedback on this. Right now, the 2 cuisines that we've selected are Thai cuisine and Vietnamese cuisine. But I need a third. I need 3 for you guys to vote between. And I'm not actually sure what I should add in there as a third cuisine. The thing is, we've done a lot of cuisines already. We've done kind of fast foody American with Sonic. We've done Indian food. We've done Mediterranean food. We've done Mexican food. Last time, we did Hawaiian barbecue. You see? So with all these things we've already done, we're starting to now narrow down the selections. So I'd definitely like to hear some of your suggestions. However, some things aren't going to work. For example, some people are saying, what about German cuisine? What about Finnish cuisine? Doesn't exist. There are no German or Finnish restaurants out here in Washington State. Greek, we kind of already covered Greek. When we covered Mediterranean, that kind of covers the whole Greek thing. It's a very similar food. So really, that wouldn't work either. Jewish, to my knowledge, I've never seen a Jewish restaurant out here either. Which would be interesting because I know that they have some unique foods, but I don't think they have that out here. Yeah. Polish, I don't think there's Polish either. See what I mean? Like, there's some good variety of cuisine I've never tried yet. But sadly, I don't think any of that exists out here. I'm taking in your suggestions now, and I will have to do some searching. I'll look for this stuff. So you like German, Polish, Jewish. Interesting. I gotta look for this stuff. Colombian? I don't know about Colombian. I have to look for that too. All right, good. I'm gonna look for some of this stuff. See if we have any restaurants like this around here, and go from there. Jade says I'll be here tonight, but not tomorrow. Okay, that's cool, Jade. Whatever you're doing tomorrow, I hope you have a good day. Caribbean. So for Caribbean food, there aren't any really like high-end authentic Caribbean restaurants. What's around here is basically a chain that's kind of Americanized, but they do have Caribbean style food. Like they do jerk chicken, they do other jerk recipes, they do a lot of things with plantains, which is Caribbean food. So if I were to get it, it would be more of an Americanized take on Caribbean food, but it wouldn't be true Caribbean, you see. Okay. Like I said, one thing that would be good, but sadly would not be a taste test really, would be American comfort food. And here's what I mean by that. There's a restaurant around here that does it really well. They do good fried chicken. They do chicken pot pie. They do meatloaf. They do really good food. But I've been there a bunch of times. It's actually one of my favorite restaurants around here. So it wouldn't be like a taste test for me. I've eaten most of the stuff there, you see. Okay. All right, so thank you for your input. I will take this into consideration, and what I'll have to do is over the next couple of days look and see what restaurants are available. And starting when I come back from my break, so Wednesday, you guys are going to start to vote on the cuisines that'll be eligible, because what you'll do, we'll figure out a cuisine to kind of be added in, and then we're going to have a poll during the week where you guys are going to vote what cuisine will be for Feasting with the King on Saturday of next week, okay? So, here's what's going to happen on Saturday of next week. Marathon event. When we start, there'll be a PreStream podcast that's going to recoup the history of my year here being on YouTube full-time, telling you about the highs and lows, the ups and downs of being a full-time content creator on YouTube, as opposed to someone who is split between Twitch and YouTube like I used to be. Okay? So that's going to be pretty interesting. During that segment, we are going to order food for Feasting with the King to be delivered later in the show. Then, the first segment of the show is going to be DSP Reacts to Down the Rabbit Hole Dark Side Phil. It's the video about me made many years ago, about 5 years ago, that outlines my early history as a YouTuber, okay? Talks about my highs and lows, talks about all the mistakes I've made. And it's going to be very interesting to go over that video with you and to talk about it, to add supplementary information. It's going to be just like when I did the Down the Rabbit Hole of Wings of Redemption. The difference is this video is very short. It's only about 30 minutes long. But if you watch the Rings of Redemption video, that was 2 hours. It took me 5 hours to get through it. So I can estimate it'll probably take me about an hour and a half to get through my own video, okay? I have a lot to say and a lot to add to that video, by the way. So, that should be fun. Then, we're going to do Feasting with the King. The food will arrive. We'll do a live meal together on stream where I will review the food. And it's always a good time when I do Feasting with the King. Then after that, we're going to do my first ever WWE 2K22 sim match. A 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal featuring created characters that are going to be from everywhere. I'm probably going to have superheroes, pop culture icons, musicians, movie stars, cartoon characters, all kinds of crazy shit in this match. Usually when I do these, they're zany, they're over-the-top crazy, and you never know what's going to happen. I love doing it because I get to do this commentary that is just as surprised as you are at what's going on in the game. So it should be a good time, and I haven't done one of these in many years. So it should be fun to finally bring this back as something special during this marathon event. And then to end the show, I'm actually not sure what I want to do. It could be something off Game Pass. It could be Skyrim. I'm not sure yet. We'll talk about it over the course of the week to try to determine exactly what it is that you guys want to see to end my marathon on Saturday of next week. Okay? So it should be a good time, and I hope you guys will join me for the fun, the 1-year Return to YouTube Anniversary Spectacular 1 week from today. All right? But outside of that, we need to figure out another game, all right, in order to, in order to plan out the schedule for the rest of the month. Because WWE 2K22 is great and all, and I'm going to alternate that with other stuff, but what do I alternate it with? And we were talking about this, and there doesn't seem to be a consensus, but here's some ideas that you guys came up with, at least in the last 24 hours, okay? First of all, there definitely seems to be a desire for another lengthy playthrough, which is weird to me, because I thought with all the lengthy playthroughs that we just went through, right? Horizon Forbidden West, I almost said Elder Scrolls, Elden Ring, as well as the ongoing playthrough of Skyrim, right? And now Lego, which was 30 hours, all right? There seems to be a desire for another lengthy playthrough. People keep suggesting incredibly long games. In fact, checking the video comments that I got in the last 24 hours, I'm not kidding. There's a group of people who want to see Fallout 3. And I'm like, Fallout 3? Really? Now? Really? It's confusing me. Because we're playing Skyrim, all right? And admittedly, they're two different worlds, two different franchises, but they're both from Bethesda. They are open world games. They both have a ridiculous amount of content. By the way, I've heard that Fallout 3, all right, actually runs really well, all right, on Xbox Series X. People are saying it runs at 1080p, 60 frames per second or better, all right? And I own all the DLCs already from previous, playthroughs many years ago. I have digital rights to all the DLC. So I could do what's considered a completionist run of Fallout 3 if that's really what people wanted. But here's the thing. I love Fallout 3. I've not played the game in a very long time. The last time that I played Fallout 3, get this, about 10 years ago, all right, I was going on a vacation. And because I knew I was going on a vacation, by the way, I wasn't live streaming back then, okay? I played Fallout 3 basically like a marathon, but there was no live streaming or anything. It was just me playing Fallout 3 and recording a ridiculous amount of videos, all right? And what I did is I scheduled out the videos to go live on my YouTube channel, DSPGaming, over the course of the week that I was on vacation. So that way, even though I wasn't there live, right, to make content every day, there was still new content coming out every single day. And people liked it because the quality of the playthrough was better. Even though I wasn't doing direct capture, at that point, I'd done an HD camera. My original Fallout 3 playthrough was a crooked standard definition camera that was terrible. All right? So, I've been planning to play Fallout 3. Why? I've never done a direct capture playthrough of Fallout 3. Not once. I've never live streamed Fallout 3 ever. Okay, so right there's two factors. And the new runs that I've done of these games have been way more fun and successful than I had ever hoped, right? When I'm doing these full runs of these chill games with all the content included, it allows us to have a good time together, but also re-experience these classics, and they've been pretty successful, I'm not going to lie. All right, now, that being said, oh, Jade, you're going back to the casino tomorrow. Oh, good. That's cool. That's cool. I hope you have fun. But anyway, all that being said, I see a bunch of people saying Fallout 3 in my video comments overnight. It wasn't just one or two. It was like a bunch of people were all agreeing we want Fallout 3. And I was like, geez, that takes me by surprise. Here's why. Number one, we're coming out of a bunch of lengthy playthroughs, right? I mean, Elden Ring is 120 freaking hours long. And coming out of giant playthroughs like that, you would think people maybe wouldn't want games that were so lengthy because they want something more digestible, right? And number two, I'm still playing Skyrim. We're only in the first of 2 DLCs in Skyrim. right? We're 90 hours into Skyrim. Actually, I take that back. We're 100 hours into Skyrim at this point. And looking at the playthrough continuing, likely that playthrough, by the time that we finish Dragonborn, and then the Dawnstar DLC, and then we finish the main game, probably it's going to be like, I'm not exaggerating, 150-hour playthrough. Okay? Now, you're telling me you want me to play Fallout 3, a similar open-world first-person RPG, admittedly, different setting, different gameplay mechanics. But you're telling me you want Fallout 3 now when I'm still playing Skyrim? I'm going to be honest with you. If I play it, I'm nervous that it's going to kill Skyrim. Like, people will get hyped for Fallout 3 and want to attend Fallout 3, but then Skyrim will be, like, dead because that's a playthrough that kind of got forgotten while the hype all moved over to Fallout 3. Okay? So I am very, very, very skeptical, all right, about playing Fallout 3 right now. I am. Listen, I want to play it. I told you guys, last year we did Fallout New Vegas. That was an incredibly fun, successful, very lengthy playthrough that we did together. I had a great time doing it, okay? But I just don't know about doing Fallout 3 at the same time as Skyrim. I'd be okay if we finished Skyrim and we were looking for the next lengthy, chill playthrough. I'd be like, oh, Fallout 3. But admittedly, I am very skeptical about this. The stream chat is completely split right now. Half the people are like, yes, Fallout 3, we love that. And the other half are like, no, don't do it. And this is kind of the attitude that I feel we're going to get if I do decide to play Fallout 3. Okay? Team Coco says, is no one asking you to finish Dying Light 2? No. In reality, the only people who want to see me finish Dying Light 2 don't even want to see me play it as a lengthy playthrough. They're like, we already played 15 hours in. Can you at least beat it? So wait a minute. You don't care about the content in the game. You want me to just rush through the game like I used to do. When I used to be a YouTuber and not a streamer, I would literally buy a game and rush through the plot as quick as possible and finish it, get the videos out, and move on to the next game. That seems to be the attitude people are like with that game. Like, if you play, just rush it. Well, then I'm just not going to play it. Seriously. There's no point. Anyway, so Fallout 3 was one suggestion, all right? Now, another suggestion has come up. Bear with me on this one, because this one actually intrigued me a bit, okay? But I don't know how this one would work or if it would work, okay? So what I've told you guys is that what I'm interested in doing is playing more games off of Game Pass. I really am interested in doing a run of Mirror's Edge. Remember that? I said I want to play Mirror's Edge again. But I'm also interested in continuing the games that I've already played on Game Pass and doing some more content of those, right? But I'm also interested in doing retro games, right? Like I said, I want to play games like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, etc., okay? However, literally everything I just mentioned to you guys, I don't think would work well as a daytime stream. I think everything I just mentioned, the retro games, the Game Pass stuff, is all good nighttime content. Chill nighttime streams, a smaller audience, more interaction, having a good chill time together. I don't necessarily think that stuff's going to work for daytime sessions, all right? So bear with me here, because someone actually came up with a suggestion that I don't know if it would work, but I want to at least run it by you guys, okay? I retire. I quit entirely, and I don't make any more content, and I just sit around playing chill games all day long. That's not, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. No. Here is the suggestion. Okay? If you guys remember, I started playing Skyrim way back when in December. All right? And when I started playing Skyrim, I told you guys, I know what's going to happen this year. New games are going to start coming out in droves. February and March of 2022 were some of the busiest new release gaming months I've ever seen. They were out of control, okay? And I knew what would happen is, once those new releases started to hit nonstop, my attention was going to be distracted from playing the chill playthroughs that I was going to be playing over the month of January. And I warned all of you. I said I need to do my absolute best to get as far as I can in games like Resident Evil 4, Skyrim, and anything else that I'm playing in January, because as soon as February hits, man, we are going to be inundated with new releases. And I was absolutely correct. Pokemon Legends Arceus, Sifu, Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, just to name a few. We didn't have time really to do the chill stuff anymore. And what ended up happening was, all the games that I was playing, the Game Pass games, Skyrim, all graduated to night streams, right? In some cases it worked, but in other cases people got disappointed. They're like, you're not playing enough. And some games you played a couple times and never went back to, and that's disappointing. All right? I hear you, and I agree with you on this one. I do. Okay? So the idea is as follows. Now that things have calmed down dramatically, there's almost no new releases. In fact, I would say probably the next time that there's a bunch of major new releases would be mid to late June. So we're talking over a month away. You know, when Mario Strikers, The Quarry, Sonic Origins, Capcom Fighting Collection, all those are mid to late June. But we don't have a hell of a lot going on right now. All right? It's very slow. Everyone would admit that. You look at the release dates, you're like, oh God, there's like nothing going on right now. So, a viable option would be as follows, okay? Skyrim becomes a daytime stream again temporarily. Instead of doing 2-hour late night segments, Skyrim now becomes 3-hour daytime sessions again. And it would make a lot of sense because we're in the middle of a very lengthy DLC, Dragonborn, and I'm only 4 hours into it. From what people are telling me, if I don't play it more, like it could take a month to 2 months to beat this DLC before we even get back to the game. That's how much content is in this DLC. There's also another DLC, right? Dawnguard. And apparently that one has a lot of content to it. So we've got 2 lengthy DLCs to get through before we go back to the main plot of the game. All right? So, what I'm thinking is temporarily take Skyrim out of the night slot. Make Skyrim a daytime stream that we will alternate with WWE 2K22 for a couple of weeks. All right? Get good progress in the game. Get through these DLCs. All right? And then, on the night streams, we are now freed up to do whatever we want. Do I want to continue on with particular Game Pass games that I haven't continued yet? Do I want to start a retro playthrough, which I've wanted to do for a while? Can I play Mirror's Edge? And the answer to all of that would be yes. I'd have all my night streams besides Street Fighter completely opened up all week. That would give me tremendous amount of control over what I do on the late night chill streams, as opposed to right now, half of them are taken up by Skyrim. You see? So, that is another viable option for sure. Okay? For sure. But I'm not saying that's what we're doing yet. All right? Now, there's another option. This is what I mean. People came up with some really good ideas, and I want to share all these with you guys. And we can talk about it over the course of this week until we determine what we're going to do starting next week. All right? The other option would be something horror. And the reason I say that is because originally I was going to play Evil Dead. But Evil Dead is not the kind of game that I think is going to have longevity or any kind of long-term interest on my streams. It's essentially a game similar to Dead by Daylight. One person controls the villains, the Deadites, while another person a team of people control the survivors. The survivors are trying to go through a campaign and survive against these monsters. It's something that probably would be fun for a couple of sessions, and then immediately we get boring. Repetitive and boring and not that interesting anymore. I think Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight, yes, those games had a little bit of fun for the times I played them, and then after a couple of sessions, they fizzled out. Okay? So, in that regard, maybe find a horror game to play. But the question is, what horror game? There's so many options. I could go back and play one I've already played, but it's been a very long time since I played it. Okay? Or we could try to find something completely original and new I've never played. Someone said Martha is Dead, but I actually heard the game's not that great. It's only about 5 hours long, and most people didn't really like it that much. So maybe that's a good thing that I skipped it. I don't know. Some people are saying, go back and play Resident Evil Code Veronica again. You only played it once, and it was a very long time ago. Yeah, it was. It was about 7 years ago, I want to say, when I played Code Veronica. So playing it a second time could be kind of fun, maybe. I don't know. But I would need suggestions. If that's the case, I would absolutely need suggestions on a horror game to play. All right? And then, I know all these options, right? Last but certainly not least, a suggestion that I got would be to do the DLC for Lost Judgment, which stars Kaito, not really the side character, but more like the sidekick of the main character, as the main character. Now listen, I like Lost Judgment. I thought it was an outstanding game, outstanding playthrough. But Lost Judgment, in my opinion, is not going to be mainstream fare. The few times when I was doing Lost Judgment and I played it as a main gameplay stream, it didn't work that well. It's definitely more of a late night chill deal. So what I would say is, if we were interested in Lost Judgment's DLC, great, let's keep that as an option. But that would only really work if we were going to say, put Skyrim on the daytime streams and we played it at night. All right? I don't think that would work as a daytime stream. I'm just being honest here. Okay? So, the options are that I can see are as follows. All right? Ugh. Crap all over here. What the hell happened here? It's crap all over my table. What is this crap? Oh man. Option number 1, Fallout 3. As unlikely as that seems that it would work, people asked for it. All right? So option number 1 is Fallout 3. Option number 2, take Skyrim off of the nighttime streams and temporarily make it a daytime stream so that I now have all of my late night chill streams freed up to do Game Pass content, to maybe play Mirror's Edge, and to maybe do some retro games that I've wanted to play for a while. Or option number 3, find a horror game to play. But I don't know what, and that's where I'm going to really need your feedback, is what horror game would be viable, what horror game would make sense for me to play during the daytime streams. Okay? I'm going to turn on my fan, because it's actually getting warm in here. I swear, every day is weird. Here's why. Every day I'm like, oh, so let's have the window open today, right? Let's have natural light in the office. Let's do this, do that. And then immediately the sun comes out full force and I'm blinded. Today, I said, I'm not even going to chance it. I'm going to leave the blinds down, but it's kind of cold outside, so it's cool in the office. I'll leave the fan off. The sun just came out fully, and now the office is hot within 10 minutes. Okay. When I say temporarily, how long is that exactly? Well, I assume you're asking like Skyrim. Well, Skyrim would become a daytime stream until there's other new daytime games to play. So I'll give you an example here. If you look at the game release schedule for the month, all right, there's a game, Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, on May 19th, but I don't know much about it. I need to look into it to see exactly what kind of a game it is. Some people have said it's not what I think it is, that it may actually be a game like Heavy Rain. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's like LA Noire Heavy Rain investigation game, but it's fucking vampire, so how could that be? That's kind of weird. There really is no new game releases of note until the end of the month. Sniper Elite 5, Pac-Man Museum Plus. Apparently, from what I understand, the House of the Dead remake is already out, which is weird because it was listed as a May 26th release for consoles other than Switch, but people are saying, no, it already came out on every console. You can play it right now if you want it. I was interested in playing House of the Dead remake, but someone had offered to donate it and said, if we donate it, would you play it? And I was like, yeah, if you donate it, because I don't want to drop $30 on a game that's very short. But I would do a stream of it if you donated it. But then that person never followed up. So I don't know if that offer's still on the table or not. Absolutely, I would play House of the Dead remake if someone donated it, but I'm not dropping like $30-40 for one stream. That's just not worth it. Okay. Malcolm says, pick a game you enjoy playing, so we have a chill stream because you're enjoying it. What game do you want to play? Well, I mean, if you look at the scheme of things, I love Skyrim, but I know I would also love Fallout 3, right? But I love horror games. I don't know what horror game I'd play, but I do enjoy horror games. But I also want to do some interesting stuff. Right now on my late night chill streams, there's two things I want to do. I want to do another run of Mirror's Edge. I haven't played the game in so long, and I didn't do the game justice the first run that I played it because I was doing a really guerrilla style of content creation back then, having a camera point at the television. It did not look good, okay? I want to redo it on the Series X. Obviously, the game's going to run way better than it did on the 360, and I want to have nice visuals and interactivity with you guys as I play it, okay? So I definitely want to do Mirror's Edge again. And I want to play retro games. I've been wanting to play retro games for so fucking long. I'm craving the classics. I want to play them. Okay? So what I'm thinking is, I can do that, but the problem is those games likely won't do well on daytime streams. I would love to do Mirror's Edge as a daytime stream. I don't think anyone would show up. I would love to right now boot up Link to the Past or Earthbound, because those are the two that would be available on the Switch. I don't think Chrono Trigger's on there, but I don't think anyone would show up for a daytime stream for those. You know what I'm saying? So it makes the viability of the stuff that I'm craving way less possible, because I know that people wouldn't show up for that stuff. It would work much better as a nighttime stream, but that means I need stuff for the daytime streams. You see? We're back. You see, we're going in circles here. Hobo X says, what about Uncharted 2? You wanted to replay it. It's 12 years old. I don't think you ever direct captured it. It would be a daytime stream and move Skyrim to days after it because it's short. That's a possibility. I do own the entire trilogy. Remember, they re-released the Uncharted games as an HD trilogy on the PlayStation 4 at one point, and I got it. I never played any of them, though, but I have it. Derp General, I don't know. Stanley's Parable could be good or not. I don't know. I played it once. I really liked it. Even then, when I played it, it was kind of like my audience was divided. Some people liked it and some people hated it. I don't know how it would work as a stream today, being honest. My PS3 is broken. It can't connect to the internet. My PS3 boots, but will not play any digital content. So it's pretty much a brick because I can't connect to the internet. Exactly. Team Kogo says, Earthbound was a great game, but I don't think you're right. It wouldn't make a great stream for some. Right. That would be a good nighttime game. You play it at night in 2-hour increments. You get a smaller audience, but it's people who are there to interact and chill while you play it. And, you know, turn-based combat, obviously, is very grindy-like. That is a late-night stream for sure, you know. Malcolm says, the Link to the Past opening rain scene is burnt into my head from his childhood. As well as should be. So many things on SNES are like so like ingrained in my head forever. Because those are the games that I played so many times when I was young, you know. Samuel says, when the new PS Plus plan comes out, am I planning on playing PS1, PS2 games? If there's demand for them. As I said, unlike Game Pass, every month I get value out of it. Seriously, every single month that I've had Game Pass, I got some good value out of it. Even the months where it was too many new releases to count, I would still at least play 1 or 2 games on Game Pass, okay? I'm not getting rid of Game Pass. It just makes sense to have it, all right? But for the PlayStation Plus upgraded membership, it doesn't make sense to have it unless there's a game currently to play. Like if I'm playing a retro game, then I'll get it, but I'm not going to just get it constantly. JB Green says, I would enjoy Fallout 3, but again, it depends on the demand. See, here's the thing. I feel like Fallout 3 would be great, but it's about timing. Playing Fallout 3 now, when I'm already playing Skyrim, oh, man, that is really rough. Like, that's a really hard sell for me. Because I'm already playing an incredibly lengthy open-world first-person RPG Bethesda game. It's all those things I just mentioned are Fallout 3. And I'm already doing those in Skyrim. You see? Something, my opinion, I would lean towards Fallout 3 after Skyrim. Like, beat Skyrim, and then the next one that we do like that would be Fallout 3. That's kind of how I feel. And then the next one after that would be Oblivion. And then the next one after that would be Fallout 4. And then the next one after that would be Elder Scrolls 6. And then the next one after that would be Fallout 5. In that order. So let's actually mark the calendar right now. I said it. On May 7th, 2022... I said this is how it's going to go down. It's going to be Skyrim, Fallout 3, Oblivion, Fallout 4, Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5. Now let's see if my prediction is correct. Starfield, what's that? I've never heard of it. Maybe we'll actually know what Starfield is next month when they do their showcase, right? Bethesda's going to do that showcase. Oh, boy. Zen Shuriken, I played a full playthrough of Vanquish when it was a new release. It's already out there. Go check it out. Okay. All right, so, to recap. I need to pick a new game to balance with WWE 2K22 for the month of May. There's nothing going on really in May until the end of the month. So, The options are as follows, per your first feedback within the first 24 hours. Fallout 3, switching Skyrim to daytime streams so that I can now do more stuff on the nighttime streams, which would include Mirror's Edge and probably retro games. Or a horror game, but we have to figure out what the horror game is going to be because I don't know right now. Those are kind of like the 3 viable options that people have presented to me. Okay? Fair enough? All right. I need your feedback. If you're watching this video on demand right now on YouTube, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you want any of those 3 things? Or do you think something better? Let me know. And people here have been very, very vocal today about what they want to see as well. Okay? All right. There is no news today of any kind. I'm not kidding. There's none. There's no game news, nothing to talk about. So I have nothing to talk about. What we're going to do is shout outs, and then we're going to get to Q&A, and then that'll be the pre-stream. Okay? All right. So, shout outs for today. We start off with Rusty Edwards, who did a $2 super chat and says, thank you for telling it like it is. Thank you. Zoya, re-upped their membership for 3 months. Says, how would you describe your personality? Grading, obtuse, annoying. Zoya also did a super chat and says, are you making bank with super thanks so far? No. Originally, when I announced it about a week ago, a little over a week ago now, about a week and a half ago, there was a surge of people who were interested to see what it was and how it worked. And there was about maybe 10 people who did a super thanks that day. And it was good. It actually helped out a lot. It was actually on my day off that week. And now every once in a while, maybe, I'm not even kidding, like once every 4 days, I'll get 1 super chat. If that. Excuse me, not super chat. I'm saying the wrong thing. Maybe once every 4 days, I'll get like 1 super thanks. I think super thanks will become more prominent when stuff gets prominent again on streams. If super thanks had come out in February, it would have been amazing. There were people who were showing up in droves to watch new playthroughs. There's nothing going on right now. So why would people be invigorated to support my content when it's ongoing old stuff? You see what I'm saying? It comes in along with the popularity of the content that I'm putting out. Right now, it's kind of slow. Maybe when I put out the DSP reacts to Down the Rabbit Hole Dark Side Phil, maybe then you see some support there. And when I start new prominent playthroughs, maybe then you'd see it. But I don't think you're going to see it all the time. Like, super thanks is something completely behind the scenes that doesn't necessarily get immediate recognition either. It's not like, oh, you're on a stream, here's a pop-up to say thanks. You see it prominently in my content. It's more like, oh, it's kind of down there in the comments somewhere. You see? But I'm happy that anyone even tried it. Thank you to anyone who has contributed with any kind of a super thanks so far. I appreciate that. And, you know, I will continue to like and highlight any comments that people do that are super thanks. I will. I'll make sure that those are prominently standing out on the videos. Okay, Zoya did another super chat saying, is RPG, platformers, and visual novels really variety? Yes. Yes, RPGs, visual novels, and platformers are 3 completely different style of games, and that literally constitutes the definition of variety. So the answer there is yes, absolutely. Okay. And that is it. We have no tips to shout out at all today. And that's it for the other contributions. So, it is now time for Q&A. A tip just came in. Anso Kamaru tipped $1.50 and says, I played that rhythm game I mentioned the other day, Tunism, and my skills went from tourney ready level to just upper advanced level. It's so disheartening. I need to train hard. Have you ever felt your skills slowly slip away from you at fighting games? I don't know what's going on with the leaderboard today. It's moving. Hold on. Why is it doing this? No, do what I tell you. There. It's like, you see it's not centered? It's pissing me off. That should be better. I don't know why it's kind of doing that, though. Anyway. So that was Anso Kamaru with our only tip of the day so far. Yeah, when I played fighting games back in the day, pretty hardcore, all right? And when I say that, I mean all week it would either be school or work for me. And then on the weekends, oh my God, what the frick is going on here? Look at that. The leaderboard's being very weird today. I don't know what's going on with it. But anyway, weekdays, it would be school or work. And then weekends, I would go play Street Fighter. Whether it was going to the local arcade, traveling to a tournament, whatever it may be. And that was my lifestyle for a long time. Probably like the late 90s all the way through mid-2000s, I would say. That was pretty much my lifestyle. Because I love Street Fighter so much and I was a competitive player and I played in tournaments and everything. And there were times when I definitely got burnt out. Like what would happen is I would play it so much, or I would travel for a tournament and then keep playing, and I would get so burnt out that I would feel like I hit a wall and I couldn't get any better, or I was actually playing worse. There were times when people would be like, dude, you just gotta chill. You're too stressed out playing this game. And they were right. And so what I would do is I would step away from it for a couple of weeks. I would purposely for a couple of weeks try to find something else to do with my time. So I wasn't just thinking Street Fighter, Street Fighter, Street Fighter. And what I would find is that by stepping away for a bit, okay, and then coming back, number one, I would crave the game more because I stayed away from it for a while, so I would crave it again. And number two, I would kind of feel like a refreshed attitude towards it, rather than just constantly trying to focus on like execution or muscle memory and this and that. It would be more about kind of thinking outside the box again, playing the game. And I found that those are some of the more entertaining times that I ever played Street Fighter, because having that refreshed mindset allowed me to come back into it and try new things and have no pressure. You know what I'm saying? If you just are like, if you're someone who focuses on one thing and you constantly do it all the time and it's your craft and it's what you're supposed to be good at and you're just constantly doing it over and over and over and there's no break from it, absolutely burnout can occur, and burnout will lead to actually diminished returns, diminished performance. I truly feel that. And that's definitely something that I've experienced. Now, I don't know about any other games. I've never really played any other games at a high level, you know. What I could say is, as a content creator today, I'm happy that I do a variety of stuff. We're playing Lego now. Tonight, it's Halo Infinite multiplayer. Tomorrow, it's a completely unique game in To Yomi. Then it's Skyrim. Then we're playing Elden Ring on Monday. I mean, could you be any more variety in the games I just mentioned? They're not even close to being the same. And I like that because it allows me to always have a fresh mindset for whatever I'm playing and never feel like I'm burnt out. And admittedly, when I was playing Elden Ring every day for like a month, yeah, it was draining on me. Absolutely. You know, I needed to get that break from it to come back and feel refreshed. And actually, I'm excited to see how it all ends on Monday. Okay? Colton Jr. says, I find that to be true in sports. I get that way when I play b-ball. It's probably the same thing. Anything that you just do, even if you enjoy it, if you do it too much, you get burnt out on it, right? I truly believe that this applies to everything in life. Imagine if you're a chef, but you just get tired of cooking for a while. You just want to take a break, take a month off, right? Unwind from cooking. Don't cook a damn thing for a month. Relax yourself. Go on a vacation or go visit other restaurants to see how they do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there you go. Hall the Veteran said, okay, we're moving on to other questions now, by the way. So thank you, Anso Kamaru, for your tip. Hall the Veteran says, if you could make one improvement to a game of your choosing, what game would it be, and what would you improve? I would take Elden Ring, and I would cut out most of the grindy optional content, and I would add in more legacy dungeons and make it more like Dark Souls. Because that's the major flaw of the game, I feel. And I'll talk about this in my full review on Monday. The game has too much content that doesn't mean anything. It's worthless content. It's meant to pad the game. It's meant to say, oh, look at all this content for people who suck at the game and need to grind to get levels. But it has no meaning. It's worthless, rehashed, regurgitated, recycled content that's not good. And if they had less of that and more original content like Dark Souls does, it would be a better game. So there you go. Jamie says, maybe if we're closer to a new Witcher game, would I replay Witcher 3? Yes. Not now, for sure. I'm not doing it, but I would consider replaying Witcher 3 at some point. Yes, Jade, you said you're going to the casino tomorrow, so you will not be here. I wish you luck. I hope that you have a good time at the casino. I hope you hit it big. I hope you come home a bajillionaire. That would be amazing. But it probably ain't going to happen. You know how it goes. Hall of Veteran says, most notable game bug. Oh, man. There's been so many game bugs over the years, man. So many game bugs over the years that have affected me. You know, we're talking Mirror's Edge, and one of the most notable ones is that in Mirror's Edge 1, so this is a game from 2008, there was a certain situation where if you fell a certain way, you would get stuck in midair and couldn't die. So you couldn't respawn and finish the game. You actually had to reload, and when you reload, it restarted the whole fucking stage. Yeah. That's an annoying game bug. But the reason that's a notable game bug is because it was in the sequel. I'm not kidding. In the sequel from 2016, they didn't fix the bug. It's the same bug is present in the sequel. I replicated it. I was like, how the fuck do you make the same mistake twice? They did. So there you go. Jamie Green says the Max Payne piano glitch. See, the Max Payne had so many glitches. Max Payne 3 this is. Max Payne 3 at launch had a ridiculous amount of glitches and bugs. Out of control amounts of glitches and bugs. Alright? But none of them were really game breaking to the point where if you just reloaded the game, essentially it would just fix the problem. The piano glitch, he was sitting there playing a piano. It's supposed to be a meaningful scene. Right in the middle of a game, Max Payne is surrounded by death. So many people dead and bleeding out, and you know everything around him burning down, and he sits there playing a piano. It's supposed to be meaningful, except that his arm rotates, rips out of the socket, and becomes dislocated in a contorted manner behind him as he's playing with one hand like this, and it's incredibly disturbing. It's one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in a playthrough. Hello, Christian. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Carlton Jr. says, my favorite is the floating eyeballs in Batman Telltale. Ah, the room where no one rendered except for their eyeballs and teeth. That was interesting, too. Seeing eyeballs and teeth floating around the room. Yes. Team Kogo, I agree with you. Watch Dogs 2 was leaps and bounds better than Watch Dogs 1. Dramatic gameplay improvements, amazing plot improvements. Everything was better than the first game, and people kind of just didn't play it because they didn't like Watch Dogs 1. And that's unfortunate. Hobo X says, do I remember Metal Gear Rising? It's a game I should replay because it grew in popularity over the years. Many consider it a masterpiece. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance? I hated it. I really hated it. If you remember, I don't know what it was. I could never get the controls to work right. I was trying to play it, and it was like, oh, do this move during a combo or whatever. I could never even get it to work. I basically just fucking force-pounded my way through it. Seriously. I never played it the right way. I just barely finished it. You control the camera, dude said, if you were in a hostage situation and had to save the day, which stream viewer would you choose to help? Wait, I'm so confused. Forget it. I don't even understand the question because he says choose to help you. I don't even know what that means. Christian says, my favorite was in Scarface when the guy did a T-pose inside the car. Oh my god. The T-poses are definitely good stuff. I've heard a lot of good things about HBO Max. Team Kogo says, I got rid of Netflix and Hulu because I'm going to get HBO Max soon. I've heard good things about HBO Max, and if you like the content on there, in particular the new movies, right? It's probably the way to go. It's probably the best way to go to get the best movies. Hoth Veteran says, I don't remember Max Payne 3, but I remember Bald Marky Mark in slow-mo. Remember that? When I first was playing Rockstar games back in the day, I would rename the playthroughs because Rockstar back in the day, this was before the era of content ID matching, every once in a while would get a little bit excited and they would claim people's videos and take them down. Alright? And it was unclear if it was always really them or not, or if it was someone impersonating them. But basically, anytime you did a Rockstar playthrough like back in the day, chances are you're going to get a copyright strike. So whenever I played Rockstar content, I would usually rename the playthrough something else to avoid the strike. Colin Jr. said, do you think Netflix is going under? I do. They're going the way of Blockbuster right now. Here's the problem with Netflix, all right? They assumed somehow, I don't know how, they assumed they were forever going to be the market leader. Like, they thought they would always be the top on-demand video service. And based on that premise, they took all their money and they invested in a ridiculous amount of shows that were to be original content for the service, but never really promoted the shows. If you go on Netflix, usually you're saying, oh, Netflix original, and there's like 20, 30 shows, you have no idea what the fuck they are, you never heard of them. Like, what is this? Why did they even make this? And you're confused. Some of them are all right, some of them are terrible. And like, what is this show? It's like they felt like they were just going to be this giant network that no matter what they put out, people were going to watch it. And people were infinitely going to subscribe to the point where they were going to have such income that they could basically make whatever they wanted with no repercussions. Wrong. What happened was other services stepped up to the plate. Look at how many we got now, right? You got Netflix, you got Hulu, you got Paramount Plus, you got, what, there's like 2 or 3 other major television ones, right, that they do. Then you got HBO Max, and HBO Max is the go-to place to get movies. So when you have so much competition, what ends up happening is you get into a decline. And now Netflix announces, oh, we lost all these subscribers. Oh, so now we're raising prices and we're stopping password sharing. But that's not going to stop your problem. Why did you lose the subscribers? The solution to losing subscribers is not stop other people from sharing their passwords and raise prices to make up for it. The solution is figuring out what caused it and stopping that root cause. It's like they don't want to figure out the problem. They just want to try to find another way to make the same money, which is not how you operate a business. I hate to tell them. Yeah, they need to figure out what their competition's doing that's better than them, and then figure out how to either bring it to their service or do it better to bring people back to subscribing to Netflix. Because right now, people are saying there's just no value added. It's the same shows. It's the same shit. They're not really doing much for me, so I'm going to drop Netflix and go get another subscription service that I like better, right? When I had Netflix, dude, the movies on there were not great. You know what I'm saying? They just were not great. They were just, it was an interesting selection, to say the least, but it was never new releases. It was never anything too prominent, you know? They never had the rights to movies. I guess to them it was more about TV show style, you know, stuff, which is fine, but then audiences are going to go elsewhere. That's why HBO Max has exploded in popularity. I do not have Apple TV. Nope, I don't have Apple TV. Cracker Jack says, do you get Super Thanks money like tips? No. Super Thanks is exactly the same as Super Chats and Super Stickers and memberships. Basically, the support comes in. It sits there for a while. It processes, and then about the next month, I get one lump sum payment from YouTube. Christian, I do not remember that bully glitch during the Christmas mission. No, I do not. You probably watched that moment a million times. I only experienced it once. I don't remember it. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Is there a game I wish I had a sequel but never got one? Well, he says his pick is Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs, yeah. Enslaved. I don't know. I played too many games. Clyde Baxter says in 2010, Netflix had everything for only $8. Now they're on the decline. There you go. Do I like GameSack? I don't know what GameSack is, so I guess the answer would be no. Colin Jr. says Netflix has a huge problem with shows getting canceled out of nowhere. Well, this is the problem. Netflix grew and grew and grew to the point where they felt that they could make whatever they wanted and everyone was going to watch every show. Now, what happened? Oops, we stopped making so much money. Uh-oh, we made too many shows. and then they all get the axe. And that's what's happening right now. A ton of shows are getting canceled because they can't keep making them. They need to make shows that are going to bring in subscribers. And they try so much. It almost seems to be like, like literally they have a ton of ideas and they have a giant wall of ideas. And then they bring in a guy who has like a dart and he closes his eyes and he goes, "Ah!" And the dart just hits a random idea on the wall, green light the show. And they make the show. And everyone's like, "What the fuck is this? Why'd you make that show?" "Oh shit." And then they cancel it. Any ant update? You know what they say? They say no news is good news. Right? They say no news is good news. Well, guess what? I got no news. We haven't seen the ants in a while. And I think it's a combination of factors. I think it's because for about a week and a half, I was spraying the bug spray constantly at the back of the house, which created a perimeter. And the ants basically knew to stay away because they were going to die if they came over there. That was number one. Number two, right that same week, landscapers came by and they did a thorough landscaping of the backyard for the spring. And when they did that, everything got upheaved. All the grass got completely cut and trimmed, the weeds and everything. So I think what happened was if they had an anthill or a colony anywhere in our backyard, it probably got tossed on its head or buried. You know what I'm saying? So I think the ants basically were like, they're probably still there, but they probably went off to other areas because they have not been to the back door in a while. We actually open the back door every day now. Have not seen an ant in a long time. Knock on wood. Not that I'm superstitious, but we had enough problems with the ants that I don't want them to come back. But it seems like we're okay now. That is true. Colin Jr. says, even the shows on Netflix people really like can get canceled. It's like they can't gauge interest. Not to mention every episode coming out at once so people talk about them for a week and they disappear. Right. That may actually be a key reason why the Netflix shows don't do as well as other shows. There's almost no marketing. Or if there is marketing, the marketing is so small and concise for like, you know, a week or a month right before the show comes out. The show comes out all at once, so everyone talks about everything all at once within a week. Everyone's seen the entire show and it's ran its discourse, right? And that's the end of the marketing blitz. Is done. The show never existed. Yeah, pretty much. It's very few exceptions when you see a Netflix show get a ton of promotion, like Stranger Things, which you're seeing ads all over the internet right now for Stranger Things 4 coming soon. Stranger Things 4 comes out soon. And you're like, okay, great, Stranger Things 4. But once it comes out, everyone will have seen it within a week, you know? Hall of the Veteran, I would say, yeah, it's a little late to do a best of 2010 series. I don't remember what I even played in 2010. So I don't think we'll be doing that. All right. All right, guys. Well, I think it's time. My nose is itching again. My allergies. I think it's time to end the pre-stream. Thank you for chilling with me. Thank you for your ideas. If you're watching this pre-stream on demand, remember, I need your feedback on many different things. Number one, cuisine for Feasting with the King. That's going to take place 1 week from today during the episode of Feasting with the King during my Return to YouTube Marathon event. Number two, feedback on what playthrough I should do next for a daytime stream. The popular options right now are either Fallout 3 or moving Skyrim to daytime streams so I could do different things on the night streams, or a horror game. Okay? So please give me your feedback on that. If you're watching on demand, leave a comment. It's very important that I get your feedback. All right? All right, guys. Fun pre-stream today. Thank you very much. It is time to get started. All right.